Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. I'm telling you, I had a real shock the other day. I was in Costco shopping, just picking up a couple of items, but I wanted to buy some meat, and I went over to the meat section. What I was looking for in particular was a pot roast. I hadn't cooked one in quite a while, or I hadn't purchased one in quite a while, and I thought, you know what, it would be nice to do a pot roast on a Sunday. Do you remember sometimes you'd have special meals on Sunday, maybe baked chicken, or sometimes we would have a pot roast, not very often. I thought, I'm gonna make a lovely pot roast, with some potatoes and carrots and different things in it. Well, I'm telling you, when I looked at those prices, I developed an instant case of sticker shock. A chuck pot roast was $42. To put it in perspective, that's the cost of the 2 medications that I take. Or for some who live in an area where gas isn't quite as expensive, if you have a small car, that might fill up your tank. And when you think about it like that, a chuck roast for a meal, or filling up your tank, or buying your medications, that's kind of a no-brainer. And I started thinking to myself, you know what? We're not going to be able to have meat very often in our house. In fact, the prices that I was seeing let me know that for us, at least in our household, meat and eating meat is going to be a luxury from now on. What about you? Have you found the same thing? If so, let me know in the comments. And if you found a way to beat the prices of meat, or if you've just pretty much given up eating meat. I know I talked to Lindy the other day, and she was telling me meat is a luxury for her. So you know what? I thought, I'm going to go into another store and check out the prices. Maybe the prices at Costco are a little high because they typically carry the highest level of products and their quality is so exceptional that maybe their prices are a little bit higher. So come on, and I'm going to show you what I found in another store that I went to. Not only the prices of meat, but on a couple of other things that we used to regularly buy. I decided that the store that I would try would be Vons, because they're just a regular grocery store and their prices are pretty much the same as other typical grocery stores. Not any of those, real frou-frou fancy stores. So come on, let's go in Vons and see what their prices are like on meat. The first meat I came upon was ham hocks. Now, ham hocks used to be a throwaway kind of meat. You just basically use it to season greens or beans or string beans or something like that. You used to be able to get a couple ham hocks for like $1.50. These ham hocks now are $4.49 a pound, and this package of 2 ham hocks was over $7. Down from the ham hocks were whole chickens, and I was just blown away. The least expensive chicken in here was almost $10, and the average price was around $10 to $11 for a chicken. I'm working my way down to the roast. I'm afraid to look at these prices. Well, let's take a gander at the pork chop prices. Oh my words. There's 6 pork chops in this pack, weighing 1.75 pounds, so that's about 7 ounces each, at $15.71. Holy moly. Even hamburger meat, the cheap kind that's 80% lean and 20% fat, is $5.99 a pound. And if you want the ground beef that is 93% lean, that is $8.99 a pound. Do you believe that? $8.99 a pound for a hamburger? I thought, while I'm in here, let me check out some other prices. And we love corn, but not at these prices. $5.99 for 4 ears of corn. I guess it's like it says, super sweet, maybe super special. If you want soda, remember when soda used to be $1 a liter? Not anymore. Coca-Cola was $2.99 for a liter, and then you've got to pay the 10-cent tax or whatever on the bottle. So I looked all the way down the line, $2.99, $2.99 for all of these brands. I did find the store brand you could get for $2.50, but that was a pretty small section of the store, and most of the other liters were name brands, and they were $2.99 or $3 plus, the bottle cost. Moving on to cinnamon rolls, I used to make these occasionally, not anymore. $7.49 for a package of 5 cinnamon rolls. This was really quite an eye-opener for me. I had stocked up a lot of food, in the freezer and in the pantry. So I was, using that up. And I like to not go grocery shopping every week or every day. So I was using my reserves. And when I went out to replenish, this is what I found. And oh, those cinnamon rolls, there was a package that fit right in the cup of my hand. It was like this big, and there were like 4 little crescent rolls in it. So they couldn't have been, literally, it was about 4 inches, if that big, maybe 3 inches. And it was $2.50, I think. Whew. Well, I don't know about you all, but I'm going back to making my own bread. I'm going to be using meat very sparingly when we do use it, maybe just little pieces to season. I'm going to be using more rice that I mix that up, and more pasta that I mix the meat in. So that meat is just going to be a very small portion of the meal when it is used at all. This is going to be a challenge getting Jay off of meat because she's a carnivore. But at these prices, I may turn into vegetarian. I don't know. I just may have to. Probably would be better for my health, and my doctor is telling me not to eat so much meat anyhow. Folks, I think that the handwriting is on the wall, and that even more difficult times are ahead. Some of you are probably saying, well, you know what? People who don't have enough money for food can just go to food pantries. I hate to tell you this, though. That may be changing, or it may be more limited. I spoke with a senior the other day, and she was telling me that the food pantry she used to go to, or still goes to, it used to hand out food every single week, once a week. It's now reduced that to only handing out food once a month. And as the need gets greater and more people have to use these resources, that's probably going to be happening all over the place. We need to start preparing, I think, by starting to grow our own food, and maybe getting in contact with people who have small farms or homesteads to start bartering for food. But I think we're going to have to start looking at things in a very different way. I believe we're going to have to start using a very different approach to acquiring some of our basic staples and necessities for life. But let me know what you're doing. How are you combating these food prices? Because some things we can cut out cable. We can cut out any magazine subscriptions, which I haven't had. But I'm just saying there are a lot of frills that we can cut out. But you have to have food, you have to have water, you have to have shelter. So I'm just wondering how those of you who are living maybe strictly on Social Security, what are you doing? How are you coping? Let me know in the comments. And maybe, you know what? Maybe this Saturday on my live, I will do a segment where people share what they're doing to save money and cut corners. But anyhow, it's rough out there, folks. It is rough out there. But I will see you next time. May your journeys be filled with joy and blessings. Love each and every one of you.